Hello everybody and welcome to a Sims 4 speed building video. Today what we're making is originally a house from the Sims 3 Island Paradise, and we're bringing that over to Sulani and giving it that good old Sims 4 treatment. So essentially one of the downsides of Sulani is that there's no real mountain area per se. You can see the image come on screen right now of the original house that I used. It's really bright. It's really islandy, if you can describe something like that. And it's really on a hill. Now, there's no real hill lots in Sulani, so we have to go and we have to make our own little quote-unquote mountain in the middle of the sand. This is originally on the lot that has the wrecked plane on it. I would have loved to have kept it off the grid, but it just didn't work out in the end. So essentially what I'm doing right now, I'm just going around terraforming it, making it look like, this mound is actually supposed to be there. In the end, I think it comes out pretty nice. It certainly looks like a player-made lot, but I think the overall product with all the terraforming, all the landscaping, I think it all comes out to be something that looks pretty damn nice, and you actually get a nice view of the ocean after it's done. So here we are starting to design the house. I have to admit, it's one of the worst layouts you could ever have in a house. You can see once we start to put in the bedrooms and the bathrooms how it does not make any sense at all. But here we are just throwing on the second story. There's going to be a balcony soon. I mess up just a little bit, but I tend to correct my mistake shortly thereafter. Throwing down some stairs right now. I go with this really bright red foundation, trying to match the original one. Then I go for a white, but eventually I settle on a nice pink, and it works really nice with the bright blue panels that I tried to match the original builds with. Here I am just throwing on some of the fencing. I go pretty basic. There wasn't really a fence that matched the original build perfectly, but I think in the end you get a pretty unique product, definitely unique for The Sims 4, and I think it all just comes together really nicely. So we're just putting on some finishing touches, adding some windows for the exterior. I think I also do the lighting pretty soon after this, and I actually start on the lighting here for the exterior. I didn't want to overwhelm it, so I just pretty much stick to how The Sims 3 made their house. And going forward, if you look at the original image, you might notice that I'm not really sure what you call those, they're on each edge of the house, but they're really bright purple. I changed those out for a nice light pink, and you'll see in just a couple seconds, I actually change out the foundation to match those. It turns out to be really nice in the end. I think it's a nice bright house, and it certainly sticks out like a nice mountain right over the beach area on which this lot is made. So I originally come from a Planet Zoo building background, so one of the tricks of the trade that we have in that community is making foliage palettes for when you're designing larger areas to work with. For this, I took a bunch of the tropical plants from Jungle Adventure and Island Paradise, as well as some base game stuff, and I just go around the lot trying to make it look as lush as possible. This is a jungle island after all, so I just want to make sure that this lot really represents it. So here I am just going around. I tend to work smaller to bigger, so you'll see me start with some of these ground level foliage items. Those, I don't even know what you call those, but those green bushes that you see me putting down right there, they are easily one of my favorite things that I've ever used in this game, and I think I can see myself using a lot more of that in the future. So you get to see me put down some more of those, some rose bushes, some fire flowers, or whatever you call them, and I just tend to make this place as lush as possible. And I typically think that I'm not the best landscaper in the world. Certainly, if you look in any other community and compare my builds with the better builders in those, you can see that I am not well versed in any of this whatsoever. but I feel like I was able to translate my skills over pretty well, and I think it comes off with a beautiful look in the end. You can start to see me playing with the shapes and sizes of the foliage items themselves. A lot more of these like circular bushes I tend to scale up and down just to make sure that you get a little bit of variety when you're looking around the lot and stuff like that. Not everything is going to be the same size in the end. So it's good to have that kind of diversity. And here we are just getting all the bigger trees in place. One of my favorite items are these like hanging palm trees, so I tend to drape a couple of those over. And I think one actually touches the other side of the rock on this lot itself. So it comes out looking like a nice little tunnel, if you will. Now, obviously, you have to have some nice black volcanic rock, especially when working in Sulani. So I throw a bunch of these down. So I start to throw a bunch of these volcanic rocks down, and in the end, it's not really exactly where I want it to be. Again, this is probably one of my first better builds after getting back into The Sims 4 after a long time. And I think I'm going to need to practice a little bit more with some debug items soon enough. I couldn't really get the debug menu to work. I have a couple mods installed that I think might be interfering with how I access that, but I think soon enough I'll figure out how to be able to access those for a lot better looking cliff sides. And now here we are inside of the house itself. I didn't really get too many good pictures of the interior, but I did get a good idea of how the layout should be. I do my best to get this as one-to-one as possible. Unfortunately, there aren't any spiral staircases. I would have done the whatever update came that allowed you to change the direction of the stairs, but I feel like a ladder just works just fine. And I actually do change up that terracotta landing just a little bit, just to give the living room a little bit more space. Here I go through doing a little bit more lighting around the house, just making sure it's nice and bright on the inside. And I have these nice little pathway lights that go all around the walkable parts of the lot, just to give your Sims a little bit more of a better view of where they go. So here I am doing the living room. For the entire interior of the house, I just wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want too much going on at all. I don't really know how to use clutter either, so that'll be something to work on at least. But I just kept it very simple, very much in line with how EA and Maxis and whatever they did with the original house in Island Paradise. And I think it comes out looking pretty nice in the end. It gives you a lot of room to kind of experiment with however you want to design your own house. I did add this extra window in there just to give the kitchen a little bit more light on the inside. And yeah, speaking of experimentation, once we go upstairs, there were originally 3 bedrooms, but I ended up changing one out for a multi-purpose space. I didn't put anything in there except for a single lovely plant. So you guys can do whatever you want to do with that room. You can turn it into a home office, you could turn it into an art studio. It is all up to you. Now, here we are working on the bedrooms. Again, really bare bones. I just put a couple dressers, a couple mirrors in there. And then after we finish up the bedroom, we move on to the bathroom, and this is where that original concept of who the hell even designed this house in the first place comes to fruition, because we have a Jack and Jill bathroom, which is only accessible through 2 bedrooms, and the only way to get upstairs is through another bedroom. So let's just hope you're not inviting anyone over who wants to go to the bathroom at all. And that's it for the speed build. Now we actually go into first person mode. I have to admit, I don't really know how to handle first person mode in the first place. So we just tab into first person mode on a sim right here. Don't mind that mailbox because I will remove it in the end. And we just go through our house. Also, I fix up that wall really quickly too. There it goes. And you guys just get to see how this looks from the inside a little bit more. It's nothing special, it's nothing crazy. I'm not going over the board with all the decorating and stuff like that. It's just a generally nice, easy to live. You have everything you need. And yeah, it's just a nice overall house. Uh, we got to explore the upstairs a little bit more, going up the ladder. Again, no spiral staircase just because I'm not really too familiar with that whole system, and I don't think that you can make it as compact as it is in The Sims 3. Here's the first bedroom that you have to go through to get to the rest of the balcony and the rest of the upstairs. Sliding glass doors, you get to see these two palm trees sticking out right there. I did include a little bit of hand washing, laundry day stuff right over there. I just figured since you're on the water, you're going to have some nice breezes, so you might as well make use of that and be able to air dry your clothes and stuff like that for a little bit more fresh feel. Here's the other bedroom with the desk, dresser, and stuff like that. There's that little plant in that single extra room that I was telling you guys about. And we just make our way through the rest of the house and we will go lie down by the deck. I certainly would have included a lot more stuff, a lot more activities on this lot, but I wanted to be mindful of people who don't really have all the packs. And I think in the end, it all comes out perfect. So while we're walking out here, I just want to remind you guys, if you would like to like, comment, maybe even subscribe to this channel, I might be induced to create even more speed builds. And most of all, I thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day.